It is 12/27/2018. Another installment of Keys. We are on number 9, and it's entitled Love's Prayer.
This is a retelling of the Lord's Prayer in a different way than we've been taught. It's basically a prayer is from God's viewpoint of things. Our Father, beloved is your presence in all, as your Spirit is enthroned in us all. Your will is done on earth, as it is heaven's most holy seed. Help us to meet our daily needs and free us from fear, even as we behold your face in the brilliance of our hearts, as well as the eyes and hearts of those we meet. Welcome us into our divinity, as we invite one another into the heart of your love. For we are the kingdom of your shared glory forever. It is so. Very brief. Again, this prayer is not stated from the standpoint as we view things. It's stated from the standpoint of how we view things if we know who we really are. And it speaks for itself. It's a dynamic retelling of the Lord's Prayer, but since God is love, actually the first section of this book is Keys, is divided into 3 major parts. The first part is under the title of Love is God. Love is the God of the multiverse. And that's the part that we're in now. So we're getting a view of terms that we use in our daily lives and we take for granted as being correct when they're not. We're redefining terms, redefining truth, trust, celebration, music, prayer. And as we redefine these terms, we're also redefining ourselves. That's the entire intent behind Keys. I don't have much more to say on this one other than in this prayer, instead of us praying to God to say, please grant us our daily bread, please this, please that, please them, it states, God is here, God is us, God is the world, God is everything, God is us.
That's right.
And
where did we get the Lord's Prayer from anyway?
it's ancient. It was ancient
I know,
before
but
it was ancient before I even gave it 2,000 years ago. I just altered it a little bit. It was ancient back in ancient Hebrew times.
Uh-huh.
And probably before then.
So who knows, huh?
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to bring up a point here that's going to be controversial, but heck, we're dealing with controversy here.
Yeah. So why are we swimming?
A long time ago, what we called God were the Watchers. The Watchers were people we worked for. Worship was work for. And we would beg. This is how you beg, right? Or hands put together like this, maybe. Please, sir, can I have some more? We were mistrained by beings who came to this world and altered our DNA forever and our destiny forever. They had no right to do it. They did it. But if you step back and look at it from a much different perspective, people will say, well, no. God made man. God made us. Yes, God did make us. God created us. There's a difference between make and creation, by the way. God created us through a lot of different ways. And they're all God. They're all God's doing. So for people who believe that extraterrestrials created man, no, not really. Extraterrestrials altered man. But either way, for people who say, oh no, wait, God created, let us make man in our image. The fact is, God did it no matter how it happened. is still God's acting through other beings and bringing us into being. And believe me, I'm probably speaking in advance on this. Humans have the opportunity, if they play their cards right, in time, to become teachers, healers, and the messiahs of the multiverse. We don't have to do this. We're not going to be forced to. God doesn't expect us to have to. But the offer and the opportunity is there if we should decide to flow with it. And when we know who we are, we can't help but decide to want to flow with it, because that's the nature of God. It's the nature of us. I said there was a difference between making and creating. That which is made can be done in many different ways, whether you're putting composites together or maybe building a building. But that which is created is shared into being, lovingly given into being, without expecting anything in return.
There you go.
Now, when you do something good for someone, you don't have to worry about, now, what am I getting out of this? What's in it for me? You don't have to think that way. That's so limited, and it's so limiting. When you're doing something good for someone, you feel kind of good inside, and it's because you're in touch with that God nature. That is your birthright and your real nature. That is creating. God didn't have to sit up there and think, I've got to put, let's see, how do I do water? Oh yeah, let's see, 2 oxygens and 1 hydrogen, and what's my benefit going to be from this? No. God's a celebration. Total celebration. Total happiness. Total fulfillment. Total love. Expressing and experiencing, sharing itself.
All full of inclusion. Truth be told,
Yeah.
our Creator God had help too. He put a call out to the all that is with his intent of what he wanted to do. And a lot of beings responded to that call.
Yeah. That's a shared process.
Yeah.
Now, you take the Old Testament where it says, God said, let us create man, and let us create man in our own image. That can be taken a lot of ways. A lot of people will say, preachers will say, it's the Trinity speaking. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Us. But it can also be a statement made by some extraterrestrial
The
Anunnaki creators a while back who said, let us create man, we need a slave to work the mines. That's not a very happy thought, is it? But then again, this is part of the way God worked through to bring us into being. Truth to be told, we're advanced beyond, I'm talking spiritually, advanced beyond just about any race out there.
Truth be told, we are an amalgamation of some of the finest races out there.
Yes.
And some people will tell you we're, that are into the mix of it all, that we are into a dozen or two. But
At least.
when they get down to the nitty-gritty and are able to really get down to the finer points of understanding the DNA that we are, they will find that over 60 races of distinction go into the present-day man. There's been many rise and falls of man, many different redos and recreations, and man itself as a race wholly, the different races as we know them here, herald from different parts of the universe, as well as what has been done by some of the latest progenitors like the Anunnaki.
True.
All right, so that's that.
So you see, we have an opportunity to be their teachers in time. And
those which were last shall be first. Those that were first shall be last. Maybe God was dyslexic. Maybe dyslexic people are closer to God.
Could be. Could be. The thing is, we're redefining who we are.
Maybe God helps us in his backwards name, dog.
Definitely. Totally definitely.
Maybe he's masquerading as man's best friend, literally and figuratively.
Yes, I believe that. I do. Some angels on this world walk on 2 feet, some walk on 4 feet, some fly.
Well,
Some swim. I think it's time we start thinking that way. In fact, I know it's time we should. That's part of sharing and creating too. You know, people tell me about the horrific things that are happening on Earth. I'm well aware of them. But there's something about knowing who I am that changes the effect and the outcome of all this. And knowing that in the final analysis, things are going to be great. Because we're going to make them great. Because we can. Because it's who we are. Now, are we going to go through another collapse, another calamity ending humanity? Maybe. The trouble is, I can't give you a definite answer on that right now. Neither can God. Because, you see, you don't know. When you make up your mind, then we'll know.
reality is being made by us all, moment by moment.
But
Many different timelines.
you don't have to go through another worldwide cataclysm. It doesn't have to happen. That doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means that you can make a choice that will make it unnecessary for that to happen. And then it won't. But we digress way into some interesting controversy
That's
here.
great. All right.
Yep.